Hey guys, Shay Baker here, back at it for episode I think 11 of predicting patterns. Interesting deal this week. We're going back Table Rock for another MLF Bass Pro Tour event. They just left there for stage 6 and headed back for stage 7 because of flooding that moved it from Grand Lake. But this is gonna be pretty interesting here. We got a couple of things unprecedented in the sport. For one, the same trail going back to the same lake. There's never been a time where this many anglers that are this good have gone. I mean, it's like 9, 10 days from the last day of competition that we're here. So it's going to be interesting to see how that affects a lot of their decision making. If they get caught up in what they were doing, they only have 2 days of practice, so this is natural. I mean, we're creatures of habit. It's natural for a lot of these guys to go back and just try to jump right back into what they were doing. It's going to be interesting to see this time of year, as fast as things change, if they go back and do that again, and if that works or slows them down. A lot of people get hung up on what Aaron did to win. If a lot more of them try to do that, he graphed basically his whole practice and found a few deep places and fished all those during the tournament to win the thing a couple weeks ago, a week and a half ago. So one thing that they're not going to be able to do much of at all is going to be the shad spawn deal, and that's what Andy Montgomery was doing to finish second, because they're going to change the hours to make this one a little different. So shad spawn is primarily first thing in the morning kind of deal. This is one major adjustment. Stage 7 is changing from normal start time at daylight. Going to move it to 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. for the first 5 days, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on the championship round. That's going to be interesting. I mean, that's the other thing that's unprecedented in the sport. There's never been, to my knowledge, a tournament of this magnitude that they fished in the evenings like this. So right off the top, I mean, you think of Topwater will probably play. I mean, they caught him on top water. I think Greg Vincent finished maybe third, and I know I saw him throwing the top water a good bit. This is the next ones. Yeah, Greg Vincent finished third, throwing the top water. Mark Rose, I don't know, but I imagine he was out deep. I mean, it was a pretty wide range of things going on last time they were here, and I imagine it'll be the same this time. There's a this is all the waypoints we had from last time. I did talk to a few of the guys, from the last tournament, not knowing they were going back there yet, and they said there was a lot of pre-spawn bass still, so I'm sure there'll be some on bed still, and it's just going to be interesting to see what these guys do in the evenings like this. I mean, you wouldn't think it changes that much, but it just, when you're used to starting your day at daylight, getting out there in dark and it pops up sun. I mean, you're sitting around now. The whole time you're used to fishing until 12 o'clock. You're just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. So it's going to be racking their brains, I'm sure. And the reason I got the water level stuff pulled up here, this is May for Table Rock, pretty much the whole month. And 9:15, that bottom baseline is the full pool. So you can see, I mean, it's gotten up 5 feet, a little over 5 feet, and then dropped back down, and got back up and dropped back down. So that's what the guys were experiencing. I think this little second, or this little drop here, is about when they were there last. Yeah, so a lot of the guys, if you see that decline there of 9:18, 9:17, that's what a lot of the guys were complaining about last time, is they had some flooded buckbrush and stuff like that they found early on in practice, and by the time the tournament rolled around, which is right there around that 21st, 20th, by the time the final day of the tournament rolled around, it was gone. Like, the water had dropped out of it. So the water is actually rising a little bit right now on there, it looks like, but I don't know if it's going to get up enough to amount much. I mean, it's 2 feet high right now, looks like. So yeah, 2.11 feet high. So it's going to be interesting to see how much all that shallow flooded cover plays into it. A lot of guys wanted to do that last time. Some of them did. Like, I think Andy Montgomery was fishing flooded stuff, and he finished second. So but he was fishing the shad spawn, and that's going to be out with the evening hours. So it's going to be an interesting tournament to watch. The White River, that's where Aaron, I don't know if exactly what part of it, but I saw where they said that Aaron won on the White River, and he was fishing, battling a lot of wind, and it was crystal clear, catching a whole lot of fish, a lot of small fish, and just caught a few, good ones too, but his was a numbers game, just trying to catch a bunch of fish, and it got it done. So been interested to see if some guys like we marked last time way up these rivers, see if some of the guys run way up these rivers again, looking for that stained water and shallow stuff. I don't. It's going to be. It's just. There's never been a time when they have this much information about a lake. I mean, there's always information out there. You look at past tournaments and stuff like that. But there's never been a situation where the exact same group of guys have this much knowledge, and I mean, not only about their experience there within the last 2 weeks, but also what won. And they were able to sit around and watch all of this coverage of Aaron and Andy Montgomery and Greg Vincent and Mark Rose and Jacob Wheeler and all these guys that did well while they were out there fishing. All other 80 or 75 guys were just sitting there watching every bit of it. So it's going to be real interesting to see, how it changed in 10 days and how it's the same, and how many guys pick up where they left off and how many guys fish have totally deserted them. The water levels, fluctuating constantly. They've got a lot of rain up there this week. I saw some Instagram videos and stuff where it was hailing all in the boats, blowing like crazy. So it's going to be neat to see. But I don't really know. We were kind of all over some of the stuff they were doing with this. And then they were all mixed in, in these waypoints and then in other places too. And I think some of the stuff that they did is going to be gone, and some of the stuff they didn't do, some stuff they're going to do now. So it's kind of just, it's more confusing to try to predict this one than it was the first time around. But, you'll still see the deep deal play. Somebody will do good in that. You'll still see guys do good shallow. I mean, the fish are all over the place right now, and there's spots, smallmouth and largemouth. You saw a lot of those mixed together, especially the spots and smallmouth inside of what Aaron was doing out deep. But you see a lot of the spots and largemouth mixed in shallow and a smallmouth here and there. So I'd say without the shad spawn, it's going to be probably pretty hard to win shallow. Not to mention Aaron having one deep. Just being the fact that you get out there middle of the day and start fishing. Even Aaron was catching a few shallow in the mornings, I think, before he'd go deep. But you basically just have to go straight out there. Some guys will still stay shallow and they'll do good. I mean, bushes will have good shade and docks will have good shade and all right off the bat because it's going to be middle of the day, 12 o'clock. But I think that a lot of guys will start deep at 12 o'clock and then spend their last couple of hours right before dark, maybe throwing the top water up shallow, or I don't know if they'll come up schooling, out on some of that deeper stuff and maybe get to that point. But it'll probably be, I bet somebody wins this one doing both. I bet they win some deep and some shallow, which basically, everybody's focused on Aaron fishing deep, which that's what he did, most of the time. But he did mix a little bit in the morning. So I think it'll be one again, kind of doing a mix, deep and shallow. But there is a pretty good chance of, the deep bite winning it all, just because you can stay out there now, start to finish. So who knows? But it's going to be another interesting tournament. It's just the whole thing is kind of an anomaly. So it's going to be really interesting to watch and see how all of it plays out back to back. But that's the gist of it. We'll make this one short and sweet since we just did it a couple weeks ago on the same lake. But I'm looking forward to this one. It starts up today, I believe, or tomorrow. I think it starts up today. This is early in the morning. So we'll check it out. And they got one more stop at the Bass Pro Tour, Stage 8. It's the only one they got left. So we'll see how this one plays out this week and tune back in next time. Thanks, guys.